She said it was a work event, something formal, important, involving clients and co-workers. Not the first of its kind, and normally I wouldn't have blinked. But this time, something felt off. It started with how she got ready. It wasn't the tailored pantsuit she usually wore to conferences or meetings. Instead, she stepped out of our bedroom in a black cocktail dress, elegant, tight-fitting, and far more suited for candlelit dinners than any boardroom discussion. Her perfume clung to the hallway long after she'd left, bold and unfamiliar, like something you'd wear to seduce, not negotiate. I stood there by the door, staring at the handle as it clicked shut behind her. A tightness settled in my chest. We'd been married 5 years. Not perfect, no, but I thought we were steady, safe. Recently, though, she'd become distant, subtle at first. Her phone always face down on the table. She'd giggle at messages I wasn't shown. And those late nights, they crept in slowly and then became routine. I told myself it was just work stress. Everyone has rough patches. I wanted to believe her. I really did. But that night, when I asked where the event was being held, there was a pause. Not even a second long, but just enough. A tiny fracture in her tone, like something had slipped. She quickly masked it, giving me a name I'd never heard, and a vague address. I nodded and kissed her goodbye, said nothing, but inside I was unraveling. As soon as the front door closed, I walked to the study and opened the bottom drawer of my desk. My fingers hesitated a moment before wrapping around the small camera I bought months ago. I justified it as a way to monitor deliveries or watch the house while we were away. Never really imagined I'd need it for something like this. I had quietly moved it from its original position by the front window into a corner of the dining area. Not overt, not hidden either. Just watching, just in case. I set it to record. That night, I pretended to read. Sat on the couch with an open book in my lap, the television humming low in the background. 10 o'clock came, and she texted, said the event was winding down. I replied with a casual, "Okay, be safe." Midnight passed. 1 a.m. She still wasn't home. At 1:27 a.m., the front door finally creaked open. She came in barefoot, heels in hand, eyes glassy. She smelled like wine and something else, musky, expensive, unfamiliar. She kissed my cheek in passing and said she was exhausted. I asked how the night went. "Fine," she muttered, already halfway out of her dress before disappearing into the bathroom. I didn't sleep. Not really. At dawn, while she still slept curled on her side like nothing had changed, I opened the laptop and pulled up the footage. I didn't expect to see anything. Maybe her stumbling and drunk. Maybe a phone call on the porch. But what I saw stopped my breath in my throat. The recording showed her stepping inside the house, giggling, her hand gripping someone else's. A man followed her, tall, neatly dressed, confident in a way that suggested he'd done this before. She tugged him forward like a teenager sneaking in a secret boyfriend. They went into the kitchen, poured themselves wine from a bottle she must have stashed earlier. They laughed, whispered, leaned close. Then music started, something soft and jazzy from her phone speaker. And then she danced, not just swaying or joking around. She moved slowly, sensually, her arms looping around his neck. He held her like she belonged to him, his hands low on her waist, his mouth brushing hers. She closed her eyes and melted into him like I wasn't even a memory. My stomach turned. My hands were trembling. I paused the footage, then played it again. I needed to be sure. But there it was, undeniable. I didn't wake her. I didn't scream or confront her right then. I just closed the laptop and sat in silence for a long, long time, feeling something inside me hollow out. The next morning, she moved through the house like any other day, made herself coffee, scrolled her phone, told me she had a meeting at noon. I watched her like I didn't know, like my heart wasn't caving in with every fake smile she tossed my way. I didn't say anything for days. I needed to think, needed to make sure I wasn't acting from rage. I copied the footage onto a USB and locked it in the drawer where the camera used to be. In the meantime, I played the part of the loving, if slightly tired, husband, said I wasn't sleeping well. blamed it on work. But I noticed more. A shopping bag in the trunk from a boutique I didn't recognize. A new shade of lipstick. A receipt for 2 dinners. A second phone charger tucked into her purse. All things she never told me about. All things that spoke louder than her silence. On the 4th day, I couldn't take it anymore. I sat her down and asked calmly, "Who was the man you danced with after the work event?" Her face drained of color. "Who?" she croaked too quickly. "The man you pulled into our house at 1:30 a.m. The one you kissed in our kitchen." She froze. "What are you talking about?" she whispered. I saw the footage. Her shoulders dropped. The life drained from her face. You were spying on me?" "I wouldn't have had to if you hadn't lied," I said, my voice flat. She tried, at first, to spin it. Said he was a friend. Said I misunderstood. That it meant nothing. But I didn't bite. "Do all your friends kiss you like that?" I asked. She said nothing. Her eyes filled with tears. She started apologizing. Over and over. Said it was a mistake. That she was drunk. That she never meant for it to happen. That it didn't mean anything. I didn't yell. I didn't even raise my voice. I stood, walked to the study, pulled out the USB, and set it on the table in front of her. "Watch it," I said. "Then decide what you want to say." But she didn't even move. Just sat there sobbing, hands trembling, mascara bleeding down her cheeks. And I felt nothing. Not anger. Not pity. Just empty. In the days that followed, I made quiet moves. Called a lawyer. Spoke to my parents. Moved into the guest room. She kept trying, crying, apologizing, clinging. Said she'd do anything. Swore it was a lapse in judgment. But I couldn't unsee it. Couldn't unfeel that night. Her laugh. Her kiss. The way she held him like home. Trust is fragile. You don't get a second version of it. Not really. Once it shatters, every shard stays sharp no matter how you try to glue it back together. She thought she could hide behind a work event. Thought the lie would vanish in the dark. But the truth has teeth, and all it took was a quiet camera watching from the corner. It's been 3 months now. The house is quiet, peaceful. I sleep through the night. I breathe easier. Sometimes she still texts me, still says she's sorry, still begs for another chance. But I don't reply. I gave her my trust. She gave it away for a slow dance and a lie.